Hey everybody, Rory from A&S Gear, and we're looking at a handgun today, a paintball handgun. This is from T4E. This is the TR50. So this is a revolver. This is a 6-shot revolver, CO2 powered revolver. So let's open this box up, see what you're gonna get. We're gonna have our revolver right there. And then in this little parts kit, you are going to get an Allen key and then 4 more of the cassettes, I guess you want to call them, that hold 6 balls each. One comes in the marker already, so you'll have a total of 5 of these little cartridges, cassettes, whatever you want to call them, and then the Allen key. So that's what's going to be inside there. Now this does shoot 50 cal paint, and when you first put your CO2 cartridge in there, it's going to shoot about 360 feet per second. So if I look at the manual right here, it says velocity 360 FPS. But as you shoot that, obviously your velocity is going to go down, or if you're shooting in cold weather, your velocity would be lower. If you're shooting in super hot weather, it's possible, I guess, for your velocity to be higher because CO2 will expand more rapidly or with more pressure in high temperature conditions. Let's go ahead and look at this gun though. We've got some accessory rails at the front, top and bottom, so if you want to add some accessories to the top, you can. We have our revolver section, which will pop out in a second. We have our trigger. Now there is no external safety on this marker. The way the safety works is there is a little pivot on the trigger right here. You can see that little pivot section right there, kind of like a dual action revolver. If you do not push down this little section of the trigger right there, the trigger will not fire. But if I push down on that and then pull the trigger back, it will fire. So this works as a safety, a mechanical safety, so as to not be able to pull the trigger unless your finger is pulling that section down as well. On the back side right here, we have our CO2 compartment. They offer this little Allen key in case you cannot screw that in all the way, or it's screwed in and you cannot unscrew it. You can put the Allen key in the bottom and just give that a turn and this will come off through here. So you're going to drop the CO2 cartridge down in there, put this on, screw it together to where it stops, and then you're going to push on this. You can see how it's got a spring action to it. You actually say to strike it, so I would probably hit it like this on the bottom, and that will puncture the top of the 12-gram CO2 cartridge, releasing the gas up into the marker. If you've done it correctly, there's a little pin right here on the back. You can see that little silver pin. The pin will pop out, let you know that you're ready to go ahead and fire the marker. To load it up, there's a little lever or spring, kind of like a bolt action style. But we're going to pull that forward and lift it up. That will unlock the cassette. We can pull that out of there. Now it does have a front and a back, so you want to make sure that you put this back in properly. Although you cannot put it in backwards, it won't let you slide that in there. There is a little slot cut out right here for this ratchet wheel to slide in. If you try to turn it around and do it the other way, that doesn't line up properly and it will not slide in there. So it will only go in one way. All right, so what we do, we want to load our 50 cal paint from the front right here. So the back side would be the ratchet side. The front side would be the non-ratchet side. We're just going to take our 50 cal ball. We're going to push them in. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. And boop. Like that. And then we would go ahead and drop that in. I'm just going to move it to where it feels like it's locked in place. And then we're good to go right there. You could load these up in advance if you had a little spot for them to sit, or you could do it on the fly while you're playing. And then every time I pull the trigger, it is going to rotate and fire one at the same time. So I'm going to pull this one out because I don't want, even though there's nothing in here to push the ball out, and there's no gas in this, so there's no ball that's going to go in there. I don't want to pull the trigger with that in there, with the paint loaded. I'm just going to pull that out, put it in a different one, and then see that going right there. Now you can't really see it. It's so fast when it moves that as I'm pulling the trigger, you can't even really see that rotate. I guess you can kind of see it like that. But if I do it slowly, you can see it move. So every time I pull the trigger, It's rotating that cassette one step and chambering the next paintball round. But you only get 6 shots, then you're gonna need to reload it and fire again, reload it and fire again. I do not know how many shots you will get off of one CO2 cartridge though. I would assume you should get lots because other 50 cal stuff I've shot off one CO2 cartridge, you do get quite a bit of shots out of it, but it does not say anywhere in this manual how many you're gonna get. So I would expect to be able to shoot all 5 of these off of one CO2 cartridge, but I don't know for sure. We'll do that in a shooting video some other time. To get the next one out, obviously you pull that forward, pop the wheel out, put another one in. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Really fun to go out and play with. There's nothing better than just blasting this thing and having that thing rotate around and you're just having some fun out there. So this is the T4E TR50. It's available through the website. Order yours now through ansgear.com.